Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation, joined once again by Lane for another Warhammer 40K battle report. Today, it's going to be the battle of the silver and the gold. Lane has brought his Custodes to face off against my Grey Knights in my ever-growing list of technical tweaking to try to make a point-scoring behemoth that, well, usually gets beat up off the table pretty quickly.
Still scores well, though.
Yes, scores really well. And the Custodes, which is an army of tanks.
Yeah,
not literally.
Little man-sized tanks. Well, not really man-sized because they're like 8 feet tall.
Right, that is true. They are pretty big. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell for notifications to get notified on all the content that we're bringing here on the table. Just crossing 1,000 subscribers. Again, thank you very much on all the support on the channel.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, let's get over into the armies that we're bringing today. Lane, why don't you talk to us about your Custodes?
Let's do it. All right, guys, as you know, we have full rundowns of our individual lists and separate videos on the channel here. So if you want to check those out, if you want more details, that's a great idea. Because right now, I'm just going to run through this pretty quickly. So Custodes are 3 characters we've got today. We do have Trajan Valoris on the table. We have the Blade Champion, or as some call him, the Blade Wizard. And then we have a regular shield captain who's carrying a sword and shield today. For battle line units, we've got 2 big old squads of Custodian Guards, 2 9-man squads. One of them is all sword and shield, and one of them is all spears. I didn't mix them just to keep them easy to use in my head here. And then we've got 1 little 4-man squad of the Sisters with bolters on the table. In addition to that, we have a 6-man Warden squad. This one has a Vexilla. I only have 1 Vexilla, so just for the sake of being at least remotely WYSIWYG, we've only got 1 Vexilla on the list today. It just gives that unit the extra OC. These guys are modeled with axes, but I'm going to use the spear rules, though, so that I'm a little bit not WYSIWYG. And then we've got 2 2-man squads of the Alaris Custodians, the Terminators. And finally, to wrap it up, we've got 1 Caladius Grav tank. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, so as Lane mentioned, we do have the full army wrap-ups as well on the channel if you guys are interested in more about these armies that we're bringing today. So for my army, we have the Grey Knights. I have a Land Raider, a Signal Dread Knight, regular Nemesis Dread Knight, 2 5-man squads of Strike, 2 5-man squads of Interceptor, a 5-man Terminator squad, 10 Purifiers led by Castellan Crow, a Tech Marine with the Sigil, and 4 Servitors joining a squad of Strike, and the Custodes Assassin. All right, so we did hear some suggestions. We're trying to get this dialed in to make our armies a little faster on the get-go on it. So bear with us as we adjust to that. We agree with you guys. You know, we do the separate video. Why not just make it quick? Bam. Here's who we're bringing today. Here are the contenders.
Let's get to the fighting.
In this corner, weighing in at X amount of points. Yeah, they're both 2,000-point armies that we're playing with standard competitive mindset for the games we play. So yeah, Custodes. Custodes are pretty strong in the game right now.
They are. This is my first time playing them in 10th edition. I mentioned that in my army rundown video, but yeah, so go easy on them in the comments. But dude, I would appreciate the feedback, but this will be the first time I run them in 10th. I've only got 1 of the Caladius Grav tanks. I feel a little bit naked only having 1 unit that's dedicated to shooting pretty well. The other Custodians have a lot of good anti-infantry guns, but really just 1 like super shooting unit. That's all I've got. I usually just shoot. Now I'm going to just fight.
Well, I mean, in opposite, I do have just the Land Raider that's super shooty in my list. And again, mine is also very, very high anti-infantry. However, your guys are a lot tougher than some of the infantry I'm looking to pick up. So as I've seen before, especially with Terminators, my Purifiers might have a rough time into some stuff, but I am significantly faster than you. So that's going to be interesting to see how much that plays out of the game. Am I going to be able to run up the scoreboard early and hold you back? It was the mission and stuff like that. It's going to be hard to run up the scoreboard early on primaries, but we'll talk about that all in a little bit. And actually, I think that little bit is now, Lane, your best friend right here.
Hey, we're back on speaking terms. It's fine.
All right. Odd or even, my friend?
Even. 5. Back again.
That was amazing how it just rolled it back for us. So perfect. All right. So I'll be making you deploy first, and we'll be back after deployment. All right, friends and family, we are deployed. So starting over here with the Grey Knights, I'm spread out a little more than I usually like to go, but with the mission and Lane's slower, per se, army, I felt like it was a safer bet and to get the Land Raider into better lanes. No pun intended. So I got the Land Raider hiding over here behind the rune, and the Custodes just outside my zone to be able to attack that objective depending on who goes first and stuff like that. Terminators are also down. I'm going to be able to pick them up and do some Grey Knight bounce around shenanigans as the game continues on. Over here, I got the Tech Marine on the board with the Strike that he has joined, with his Servitors, and a Dread Knight down here to give it +1 on the first game turn. Also, I have one Strike Marine at least touching that objective, so I can sticky my home field objective and then move on from there. Now let's go over here and talk about Lane. Lane, what do you got going on with your deployment?
So as far as deep strikes and reserves, I just put the 4-man sister squad in reserve, and then the two-man Alaris Terminator squads in deep strike. So they'll be coming in a little bit later, hopefully doing some secondary work for me, some primary work. And I really just we're on the table here, ready to go forward. Like I said, it feels weird not needing to draw a line of sight for shooting or anything. I got my big Tum tank up front. These guys are on the bottom floor, of course, ready to move forward and get an objective. These are the sword and board guard. We've got the wardens over here ready to move forward and get an objective. And, of course, the rest of the custodian guard in the back here. As far as characters, Trajan is with the spear custodian guard. We have the blade champion with the sword and board guard, and then the regular shield captain with the wardens.
And that's in deep strike?
No, the wardens are right.
Warden over here.
Yeah, the wardens are the ones with the red loincloth type things around their waist. So
and then, like Lane was talking about deep strikes, I have the 2 interceptors. The purifiers are in deep strike, and my strike are inside of the Land Raider. All right, so Lane, let's talk about what we are playing today.
So our deployment is Crucible of Battle. As you can see, I picked up some of these neat little cardboard deployment zone markers that GW has given out. So we've got our deployment zones marked here with these lines of cardboard markers. Our mission rule is secret intel today. This is the one where when you pull secondaries, you pull 3 cards and discard 1. And then our actual mission is priority targets. For priority targets, you get 5 points for each objective you control, up to 10 points. So it caps you at 10 points per turn, because this is the one where you score end of game. So you get 5 points for each one you score at end of game, additionally up to 15 points. So it caps you at 10 per turn and 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you get extra points if you're holding them at the end of the game.
Awesome. Yeah, this was one I was very happy to see during my Eldar matchup, because I was able to keep up the game because of it, because of this mission. So this one does lead to a very, very easy time to keep up with your opponent on primary. So I don't think we'll be gambiting in this one. Watch Epic Force.
Yeah, you really just have to hold 2 objectives each turn to get 10 points to max out primaries. And then it just comes down to what's left on the table at the end of the game to see who outscores on primaries by holding more at the end.
Just understand, Lane, I want you to know this, and you can be afraid by this statistic. I currently have a 50% success rate with gambits. I am 1 for 2.
Okay, well, I dare you to brand one today. We'll see.
I dare to dare. All right, so Lane, in this, what do you feel like? You want to go first or second?
I don't know.
I mean, I always would love to go second.
I can't shoot anything.
Exactly.
It feels so weird, guys. I don't know what to do.
So I got my nice little dice rolling tower I'm going to break out for this one, and we're going to see who's going to go first.
Start with a 6 up here. Oh, it's a 1.
You got a 1 and I got a 2.
You won it with a 2.
All right. Well, that means I'm going. Oh, wait, I win. I'm going first. I didn't want to go first. I wanted to go second. All right. Well, we'll be back after Grey Knight turn 1. All right. So a keen eye made note that nothing has changed here. So going first, I really have nothing I can do. I can't get the Land Raider in position to shoot. Can't get the Dread Knight anywhere to do really any damage. And I can't pick my units up off the table because I haven't had an opponent's end of movement phase. So drew 3 secondaries, and out of those 3, one of them was scoreable, and that was Cleanse. And I moved right up there, tiptoeing the assassin up on that point, and I get to say one of my friendly phrases that I love. My Terminator's advanced, and since they are a teleport unit, they auto-advance 6 and gain fly. So yes, I have flying Terminators at this moment, which literally basically means absolutely nothing, but hey, flying Terminators, it's fun. And then over here, I do sticky the objective because I control during the command phase, which is nice for future moments. Gave the Dread Knight +1 to hit, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, so I'm going to discard Area Denial to gain a command point. And since we get to draw 3 cards, I'm not too worried about holding on to that one. And then I scored Cleanse for 3 points, was it?
Yep, three for 1.
And then because of the mission primary, I do have my 2 objective markers that I'm holding. It's going to be very difficult. Like we measured it out. If Lane wants to try and charge me over here, he's basically going to need to advance and charge with a strat on a 6, and then as well hit like a 11 or 12-inch charge. But I'm also 1.1 inch away from the wall, even though it's kind of withered away. So you'd have to go all the way around. Most likely not going to happen. So yeah, simple, uneventful turn for Grey Knights. Now we'll go over to Lane and see what he can respond back with.
All right, guys, DJ and I just played an entire battle round where there was only a single dice roll between the 2 of us. I rolled an advance on these Custodian Guards to get Area Denial. My 2 secondaries are Area Denial, which is get in the middle and have no enemies in the middle. And the other one is Investigate Signals, which is get in the corners and do action. So these guys did roll a 6 on their advance, which got them wholly within 6 of the center of the table. And then we move these Custodian Guards back into this corner. So they're wholly within 9 of that, and they can do an action. And then the Wardens are wholly within 9, and they can do the action. And then the tank...
They did advance. There was 2 dice rolls.
Oh, okay. They did advance.
But it was a single roll.
Yeah, they have assault weapons. The Custodian Guard are assault weapons, so they can advance and still do the action. And then I had to move the tank over here to hold an objective because I don't have very many units, guys. This is a weird feeling. I've only got 4 units on the table and only 3 in Deep Strike. So, all right, let's see if we get a little more action turn 2.
Yep, this is how we're going to start this turn off. All right, so we have a little more action this turn by a Land Raider jumping over some pipes. For starters, I will be bringing in 1 unit out of reserves. So I picked up at the end of my turn the Terminators, the Dread Knight, and the Strike Marines to see what I got for secondaries and what I wanted to do. So my secondaries that I got, I drew Assassination, which ended up getting discarded. And I had Storm Hostile Objectives, or I'm sorry, Capture Enemy Outposts, and Extend Battle Lines. So Extend Battle Lines, real easy. I basically score that for doing nothing because the Calidus Assassin already had that objective. And I sticky this one, so I'm in a real good position there. Storm Hostile Objectives, however, what I'm going to do is these Interceptors that landed right here. I didn't have to spend a command point to drop them in super close. Instead, I'm going to shoot at these Custodian Guards and make a move in the movement phase in a new play. Yep, just like that. We're just going to bounce right into that middle objective and take that away from the Caladius tank. And yeah, so that's going to be basically my turn. We'll do some shooting and we'll come back to wrap it all up. We do have Dread Knight to be able to put a little bit of fire down on there. And he got +1 to hit from reserve for the Tech Marine, which the Tech Marine and the Strike came back down and touching this objective. So if nothing else, I can try and sticky that objective and start moving around the field again, playing my small child turning on light switches in and out of rooms. All right, let's roll some dice and shoot some guns. All right, so not too much, but efficiency. We definitely see some efficiency. So Mr. Dread Knight was able to pick up 2 of the guys with the help of the Interceptor. So the Interceptor shot everything, and apparently the Custodes didn't bring good armor today. So one guy got beat up by just the Interceptor spray and pray, and then the Dread Knight was able to fire in there, went hot with the silencer, and finished off 2 guys in total. So that's nice. I mean, any dead Custodian is a reward in its own right. And then the Interceptors made their little bounce in here to take home objective away from Lane, holding him to a 5 on primary, but mostly scoring me 8 points for Storm Hostile Objectives, and then Extend Battle Lines will also get a 5. So big 13 on secondaries this turn for the good guys. Let's move over to Lane and see how he answers back.
All right. So these Custodian Guard moved forward to these Interceptors because we don't like them. We're going to make them go away. You may ask why DJ did not pick them up and bounce them away. He has plenty of CP as a strat that allows them to bounce away if anyone moves within 9 inches of them. Well, the reason is because over here, these Custodian Guard moved forward this big squad of Strike and with the Tech Marine in here, try and wipe them out, and then they bounced away. So he used the strat here.
About losing wasn't about losing my strike so quickly.
Gonna lose that Custodes before she gets a chance to vex me, though.
Yeah. Well, you know, I rather, yeah.
She'll get to fight first, though, because she's got fight first, so maybe she'll pick up a Custodian Guard.
Could be.
Then we deep struck these Terminators here so they can do the action. Oh, my secondaries this turn will be Cleanse and then Defend Stronghold. That's what we'll be doing. And then these Wardens advanced up here to get on that objective and do the action. They do have assault weapons, so they will be able to do that. That's it. We're going to put, well, the Caladius is going to shoot at Yon Nemesis Dread Knight, and then we'll see what happens next. No big surprise here. The only shooting really was we put some shots downtown into the Nemesis Dread Knight. DJ did True Silver Armor, and he got cover. So the AP3 from the tank went down to really just an AP1. So he only failed one save. Did 5 wounds to the Nemesis Dread Knight. So still pretty healthy there. Of course, these Custodian Guards moved in, and with their 45 attacks, picked those guys pretty well. With our 30 attacks here, rerolling all wounds because we're on secondary, picked up, what do I do? 13 wounds to the 13 wounds got through on the
just only 13.
She failed 13 for a pinball save. So the Custodes is definitely gone and it was never been affected. So we'll see what happens next.
All right, here we go. So still playing a little cagey and was questioning this. I mean, talking about this back and forth. And with my secondaries I drew, I had Tempting Target that I got rid of. Now, with Tempting Target, I could have brought the Interceptors down and done this again and taken this objective away from Lane, and as well as reduce him in his primary game, which that might have been the play. But I want to conserve my resources. I don't want to lose that much, so I have stuff to play later in the game because Custodes are tough. Instead, I spent a command point to drop my Purifiers down within 3. And then I also spent 2 command points to do Hallowed and Soulfire to make it so that they are basically lone operative for this turn because they arrived out of Deep Strike. I also have Investigate Signals, so these Terminators drop back so I can get within 9, investigate over here. And the Interceptors are going to investigate in this corner. And then there's the rest of my army, all dropping in and is going to pour everything into these beautiful little, beautifully painted Custodian Guard and hopefully pick them up off the table. So, yeah, that's going to be, we're going to go into the shooting phase and see if we can't do some work and get some of these golden boys off the table. All right, so finishing out the shooting, Purifiers were not able to pick up even a single of the Custodian Guard, only getting 2 wounds on them. But hey, we'll take it. Damage is damage. And then over here, we beat up the Guard real well with, well, all of my entire army.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into charges. We're going to try and charge and see if we can't finish them off and take that objective away. And yeah, we'll come back after our fight phase. All right, so only the Dread Knight was able to make it in, but first, and crush the last of the Custodian Guard. However, Lane opted to swing first, and he did quite a bit of damage, dropping the Dread Knight down to 2 wounds. So that was a little rough there. But since I did finish off the unit, I will get 2 on no prisoners, and I investigated signals in 2 corners for 4 points. So I'm going to get 6 on secondaries. Hopefully I don't lose this game because of that not going after the Tempting Target, but we'll see how that rolls out in the end. Yeah, so we're going to move over to Lane and his bottom of turn 3.
All right, guys, we're playing some Warhammer here. A lot of thinking going on, a lot of strategizing. So first, the Blade Wizard, the Blade Champion, stayed right where he was, engaged in combat with us. Now, I can actually shoot the Nemesis Dread Knight because I can just see his parts of his model over top of the first floor. Because only the first floor we're playing is actually blocking line of sight. After that, above that, it's true line of sight, and my Caladius Gravity Tank can just see him. He's only got 2 wounds left, but DJ can do the True Silver Armor, and he is in cover with AP3. He still just has a 3-up save. So no guarantees that I pick him up. But if I had moved the Blade Champion, remember for 1 CP, Grey Knights can just bounce something away. So he could have just picked up that Nemesis Dread Knight if I had moved within 9 inches of him, and moving the Blade Champion away would have done that. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we pick him up, because otherwise he will get to swing first onto my Blade Champion in the fight phase. Other than that, We did not move these Terminators. Again, if I move while I'm within 9 inches of one of these units, DJ can just pop away. I'm not going to be able to kill this whole squad, but I'll pick up a few guys and charge those Terminators in there and hopefully get them. These Custodian Guard moved out. Again, I moved them forward and made sure they were outside of 9 inches so that they so that he can't bounce away on me. And I've got 6 of those guys into shooting range so they can put their shots into them to put a little pain on them. Then really, Cladius just moved up to position a little bit better for later game. Wardens just moved up to, again, position a little bit better for later in the game. And the Sisters advanced up and made sure they're spread out in the little square here on the objective so DJ can't deep strike within 3 and steal my home objective. And then finally, this is turn 3. I had to bring in my last 2 Alaris Terminators, and they were able to squeeze right in here. We measured it out. They were able to squeeze in here. I'm actually taking DJ's home objective. So one of my secondaries is to storm a hostile objective. So I have done that here. And the other secondary was, I forget. Extend battle lines, the easy peasy one. Hold your home objective, hold 1 in no man's land. So that's it. We're going to do some shooting, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, so what happened was the Custodes shot at the Nemesis Dread Knight. Rolled pretty bad on my hit rolls. He's -1 to hit because he was in combat with my my Blade champion. So I only got 1 hit, failed to wound, so didn't go anywhere. Stayed there. These guys, so both the Terminators and the Custodian Guard shot into these guys, and we did some damage. DJ decided to pull them off the objective to make my charge more difficult. So although he loses that objective there, he preserves the unit, because if I had charged them with the Custodian Guard and made the charge, they would have been wrecked. They would have been gone. I could have charged him with the Terminators, but then he would be able to pile in with whatever survives and maybe take it from me. So I didn't want to risk it. I just wanted to keep them off objectives. These little Alaris put their shots into the Terminators here. Did manage to pick 1 of them up, which is irrelevant, as he will come back in the command phase. And then here, a whole lot of nothing, guys.
We literally smacked each other in the face.
We both spent a CP. So DJ got to swing first. He is bracketed because he's down to 2. So he only got 1 hit. He did a CP reroll and got 2 hits, then rolled 1-1 on his wounds. And so only did 1 wound. I made the invuln save, and I swung back. Because I don't have any more of the guard with me, the Custodian Guard, I don't get to reroll wounds with him on one objective. So I spent a CP on a reroll, just failed to do any wounds. DJ didn't have to make a save. So we are there. So DJ may control this one. He would have to pass his battle shock test, though. But he'll have a CP, so he can auto pass if he needs to. So at least get 1 primary. As far as secondaries, I did extend my battle lines, and I did storm a hostile objective, so I did score 10 points there. So that was delightful. We'll see what DJ does on his turn.
All right, so top of 4. Picked up only the Interceptors this turn and brought them down in the corner because I did get deploy, teleport Homer, and engage on all fronts. So these guys are going to come hang out here and score those for me. Then over here, Mr. Land Raider, there's a little piece of terrain there that was just kind of decorative, and, well, we got tired of it, so I just ran it over and crushed it for all intents and purposes. But the Land Raider does have line of sight to drop at the... Are those Wardens or are those Guard?
Those are Guard.
Those are Guard. Okay, so these Guard don't have shields over here, so hopefully that's a good thing for me. I don't know if that increases. No, that means they're 1 less wound, right?
Yeah, the 3 wounds will be.
All right, so Land Raider is going to pour everything in a 100-killer missile in them, see if we can't pick some of them up. And then, yeah, I had to do some Elaine's tricks of not moving, so I didn't get overwatched over here at the Purifiers, and they're going to try and take out the Allure Guard Termi dudes hanging out over here. And speaking of killing Aloris Custodes, Terminators brought my 1 back. We're going to get in there and try and finish them off. As well as over here, we got the Marines moving up to try and finish off Mr. Blade Champion in there. So a lot to go on this turn. Let's see what happens and hope for the best for the Grey Knights. So surprisingly, the Purifiers actually picked up the rest of the Guard. They went from doing 2 wounds as a full squad to 6 wounds as a partial. All right, well, that's how we're doing. But I did notice there may be an epic battle in the middle where Trajan is coming in and we might have a matchup with Castle and Crow. So
We
we'll
may.
see.
I think we definitely need to. I think we owe it to our viewers. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Now we're gonna have a big fight in the middle of the table.
Trajan versus Crow. Center field. Dun dun dun. Over here, Terminators moved up, shot, bounced off the armor. Not surprised there. They're going to charge here in just a second. And then we didn't go after the Blade Guard. Because instead of going after the Blade Guard, the Land Raider, the Dread Knight, and everything went after, and Lane's dice just took a very fast turn south.
Rolled a lot of ones.
Yeah, I picked up half the squad right there because there's 5 and Trajan's 11.
4 guys.
4 guys?
No, it was a 9-man squad.
Oh, it was a 9-man. Okay, cool. So we did pick up 4, which is, I mean, they're Custodes. I mean, wow. Yeah, so let's, we're going to do some charges and we'll be back after our fight. All right, so Terminators were able to pick up 1 of the Alorius Custodes, and we dropped the other one down to 2 wounds. They turned around, smacked me, but our armor was true. And over here, the Grey Knights, the Strike Marines, were able to charge in and poof, Blade Champion is gone. So we will take that objective back in the name of the Emperor, truly in the name of the Emperor. Don't try me here, Trajan. And we're going to move over to Lane's turn. So I did get engage on all fronts for the 3 quarters, and I will be deploying a teleport homer right back in Lane's home deployment zone. So yeah, now we're going to move on to Lane, bottom of 4, and see what he makes of it.
Okay, not a whole lot of movement, just kind of adjusting things a little bit. I've got these guys down here. I don't have a whole lot of assets as a Custodes player. So I'm just going to put a few piddly little shots from the Caladius and from the Sisters into these guys. See if I can just pick up one of these guys. I'm lucky. We scooched around, so because DJ can jump away if I get within 9. I got multiple guys, so they would be within 9 of multiple models. So if DJ picks up 3 of them, I still have a 9-inch charge. As you can see, it's kind of like a little matching pattern here. We're up like that. So if I kill more than 3, it's a problem because then it makes my charge harder. But if not, then I get in there. And then that's really about it. I was thinking about moving this Terminator back out of engagement range because I have engage on all fronts. He needs to survive in order for me to score engage. But if he
moves that Terminator back, then
I'll be within 9 inches of these guys, and then they'll fly away, which I don't want to happen at all. So hopefully we shoot this stupid thing and it explodes and goes away and it doesn't cause me problems anymore. That's it. I'm going to do some shooting, and then we'll be back in a minute. Really, this game just comes down to who rolls more 1s on their on their armor saves, because we are both shooting a whole lot of AP1 shots into people in cover. And both of us are totally 2-up armor saves. So anyways, I shot too many of these guys here to make my charge more difficult. So I wasn't able to make a charge into it. I mean, I obviously whittled that squad down quite a bit. And then that's really all that happened. We did blow up the Nemesis Dread Knight, of course, in shooting, so I did score, bring it down. My last remaining Terminator did die because DJ got to fight first on my turn here, which means I did not score engage. And we will see what kind of business he gets up to in his turn.
All right, here we go. Going into the bottom or top of 5. So Interceptors moved out, and they are going to try and make quick work of the Sisters of Silence right in there, the Prosecutors. Over here, Crow and company moved forward and ate an Overwatch, losing 1 more dude out of the squad. And my strike with Tech Marine dropped in so I can take the objective in center. I need that because I got secure no man's land. So I want to make sure I score these points getting into the end. Right now, Lane's got a bit of a lead, so I want to see if I can't take some points away at the end of the game. Now, over here, we got the strike just moved back just to keep a hold on the objective, and Land Raider got some more lane to be able to put shots onto the Custodian Guard at center. So let's see what we can make happen here and do some shooting and see what happens. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real tight. It's going to really come down to the end on this one. All right, so after the shooting phase, the Interceptors over here picked up 2 And these last two Sisters of Silence just got swept away. Lane, if you wouldn't mind.
No,
Thank you very much.
Further
Got swept away in the charge. And then over here with the Land Raider and the Strike Squad and all our jazz, we put a whole bunch of hate in
all
here.
your jazz.
All my jazz. All into the Trojan and his squad of Dude Meisters. So we got 3 Custody guards left and Trajan. And we stuck both charges. Lane has fight first, and I have fight first as well, but since he is not the player turn, he will get to activate his first. So we will come back and see what happens from this epic conclusion where Trajan and Crow turn Trajan around. Turn him around.
What do you mean turn him around?
So he's facing Crow.
Oh.
Come on, Lane. I
want to show off the lion. Look how good the lion looks.
Oh, I mean, the lion is amazing.
There we go. Let's fight.
There it is.
Let them fight.
Trajan and Crow have legitimately met. I'll even move a little bit too. At center field.
Now kiss.
All right, we'll be back. Trajan has 1 wound remaining. Crow is down to 2. The epic battle will continue to hopefully in the Lane's turn, unless he decides to run away. But what Custody player would do that? As over here, the Strike are still good. They lost all their servitors, but that's fine. That's what they're there for. And the Custody Guard are gone. So I will end up scoring an 8 on secondaries. Although one of my secondaries will not score until the end of Lane's turn, there's really no way for him to get back and stop me from holding my home field objective. So yeah, it's just going to stand. And we're going to go over into Lane's turn 5 and see how this game finishes up.
All right, so I advanced with these guys. I rolled 1 on my advance, and then I used the captain, because there's a captain, shield captain in there. I used his ability to re-roll or his ability to use 1 stratagem for free, and I used it for the CP re-roll. And I did roll a 6, which is what I needed to get onto this objective. Now, I'm OC3. DJ's on here, but I need to kill, I guess,
the whole squad, because I have the Tech Marine here.
No, Tech Marines are probably OC1.
That's what I'm saying. And then
I'd have to kill 5 guys.
Then you have him, who's OC2. So because this is a Strike Squad. So
yeah, so I have to kill 5 guys.
So you have, you'd have to, yes. You have 5.
Yep. So I'm going to shoot at him with whoever can see through this building here. I'm going to shoot at him with the tank. And then these guys are going to stay here. DJ's going to get to swing first. So I have to pray that my invulns hold up. All right. Unfortunately, with the shooting and the tank shock and all that business, it wasn't enough to kill these guys off there. Even though I'm OC3, he's got 1 that's OC2 and 1 that is the Tech Marine. So he does
contest
it, so I don't score. DJ didn't need that, but I needed it for extra points. Not that it would have made a difference. And we're going to ignore what happened in the fight phase. Nothing happened in the fight phase. Nope, nothing to talk about over here. Nothing over here. So, yes.
Trajan Valores, slain by Castellan Crow.
Yeah. So that's what happened there. DJ feels pretty good about that. You know, it's his birthday present. So that's he gets to kill Trajan Valores in combat. So that's it with endgame scoring for being on objectives. DJ pulls ahead because he's got 3 of them. So he gets 15 on the endgame primary, maxing out on 50. I only got the 1, so that only gives me 5 extra on primary at the end. So end of the game score is Grey Knights 98, Custodes 78. All right, guys, follow us over to the post-game battle report chat where we talk a little bit about how the game went.